Tonight, the family members of the island's latest suicide victim speak out.
I don't know his problems. He wasn't telling me his problems. He had his friends telling his problems. I try my best with him. I try and make him happy in all ways.
One government minister calls for an investigation into a person ingesting a harmful substance while in police custody. And the other shoe has yet to drop as it relates to the turmoil in the St. Lucia Fire Service. The details are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Tuesday, the 26th of March, 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The family members of the island's latest suicide victim are speaking out about the complicated life of 17-year-old Gervais Emmanuel. However, disparities in their thoughts on the youngster's choice of lifestyle is indicating that the differing thoughts and opinions surrounding his sexuality took a massive toll on him. Rochelle Gonzalez spoke with the mother of the suspected suicide victim, who is said to have been against his sexual orientation.
As one Dennery family struggles to come to terms with the suicide death of one of their own, a deeper struggle is ensuing among said family members as their opinions on one of the core matters in the case are split. 17-year-old Gervais Emmanuel was reportedly openly homosexual. However, whilst this was his lifestyle, some of his nearest and dearest were not as open to accepting it. One of those persons was his mother, Donna Emmanuel, who spoke to Hot 7 News in an off-camera interview on Tuesday afternoon.
Now, you said you did not agree with his lifestyle.
No, because I know the doctor never tell me I make a gay boy. I know I have a son, but growing with my nieces, my cousins and them, which was girls alone, and he used to be the only boy among them, so they raised him up together. If they go and bathe, he would have gone bathe with them. Grease, panty, all what they do, they would have dressed him to like he's a girl, but he's not a girl, he's a boy. So from there he started growing with that in him to start doing his thing. We had our ups and downs. It's just because of that situation, the way he was getting on. That was the only time we used to have our little ups and downs, because certain things he doing and I would have correct him, or certain places he go, they would have, like trouble him and bully him and these kind of things. They have certain times I used to go and stand for him. So I was getting tired of these things, you understand? And telling him, try and be who he is. Don't go after, you're not a girl, it's a boy you is. Why are you doing these kind of things? I used to warn him every day, telling him people will kill him and all kind of things. So he find probably the pressure, or he find his pressure he was getting, but it wasn't pressure. We was just talking to him. I myself was just talking to him.
If you had the power to change, to go back in time, like probably even a week ago,
yes, because
he could have done something different?
Yes, he could have changed, because I try my best with him to make him feel happy. I was making him happy. But I don't know why he's saying he was closed up, his people and them was closed up and different thing. He was happy. Everything he wanted, we were trying our best to give it to him, whether it's on my mother's side, my sisters, whoever, me, myself. Yeah, he was having his friends at my home, having sleepover, doing whatever he wanted, I would give it to him, do it for him. But the only problem we had was the girl thing in him. That was the only problem.
Emmanuel admitted that her son was not forthcoming with her when it came to discussing his worries and problems, as she opposed his sexuality. She said everything she knew about her son, she would find out through the grapevine rather than from her son himself.
Since that happened there, and I getting to see her, all kind of things, even things he was doing I did not know. So right now I just seen things and hearing things. You understand? So I don't know. Some blaming me, some blaming my people, some blaming everybody. I just don't know. I don't know his problems. He wasn't telling me his problems. He had his friends telling his problems. I try my best with him. I try and make him happy in all ways. Give him all what I had to give him, support him. But the only thing is, his lifestyle, and I wasn't supporting him with that one. That's the only problem I had with him. But other thing, we were okay, we didn't have no problem. The morning, he came and dropped me. He held the bag for me. I even get to her yesterday. From Saturday, he was chopping. He took a razor blade. He asked a cousin of mine a razor blade. They gave it to him and he was chopping all his hands. I did not know that. He's on Facebook. People calling me, telling me, reading, I getting to know all these kind of things.
On the flip side of the coin, another family member, who said she was extremely close to the teenager, said she accepted her relative for who he was. She said it is unfortunate that not everyone was as accepting as she was.
He was a nice person, he was good, he was nice. From small he's that way. He haven't changed, but as he grew up, the other time he showed the most. He used to dress with women clothes, his mother clothes, that's what he used to dress with. So I don't know why they could not accept him. That's the problem. They did not accept him, but his friends accept him, but I accept him too because he used to dance on me, he didn't used to hide me. He used to tell me with who he had the first sex and everything. I don't have all that to mention nobody's name, but he was open to me a lot. I just don't know because I tell his mother accept him. That's how he is and that's how he was. That's how he born. That's how he was born. I raised him. I know. I feel in one type of weight and two hair. That's what he do. Imagine me graduate with his nails, eyeshadow and fingers.
She said all the teenager needed was someone to talk to. She continued on to say that the majority of the family did not mind his sexual orientation. However, the one person whom he needed support from the most was the one person who was not willing to accept him, his mother. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
One close family member, 17-year-old suicide victim Gervais Emmanuel, is hitting back at social media claims that suggest that the family dropped the ball and that their failure to recognize the telltale signs of his suicidal thoughts led to his eventual death. Here once again is Rochelle Gonzalez, who spoke with several relatives of the suicide victim.
The island and the St. Lucian diaspora has been plunged into a state of sadness and shock following the Monday afternoon suicide of 17-year-old Gervais Emmanuel of Greenfield, Dennery. Perhaps even more sensitive than the topic of suicide was the reason behind the teenager's actions, his sexual orientation.
Everybody knew that's how he was. He liked to do his girl stuff. We accepted it. Yes, I mean, nobody would want to raise a child and knowing that's what the child is. But then everybody let him do his thing. Gervais would come at my home and ask me for cut jeans to put on him. I would give it to him. He would ask for makeup. He would do his nails. He would comb his hair. Everybody just let him do whatever he had to do. So people posting on social media, it's like the family fault. Yes, he wrote his note or whatever, saying about his family, but at the end of the day, that have nothing to do with the family. Like, you cannot blame somebody committing suicide. You cannot blame the family for that. Who knows what else Gervais had? Gervais was always smiling to everybody. Gervais was laughing with everybody. Gervais would pass there. He would call me. I would be correct. Sometimes I would say, "You that Gervais, you know, there, you know." He would give me his little mip on and off, and then we would quarrel. He would go and do his business. He would pass. He would greet everybody, talk to everybody. So it was hard to predict if Gervais had anything bothering him. It's very hard to just stay and say, well, you know, because Gervais always happy, always laughing, always, I don't know, like he's kind of, well, from the time that happened, I myself trying to figure out like what really go on with him because I never saw that in Gervais, never ever saw that in Gervais.
Addressing claims that the family should have picked up on signs left by Emmanuel on social media, she said this is an unfair statement.
Even on Facebook, they were saying, you know, he posted something on Saturday and none of the family members did nothing. But then it's not everybody that go on Facebook every minute of the day. I mean, we're employed, we have stuff to do, so you wouldn't be on Facebook 24/7 like somebody that have nothing to do. So when I heard people saying he posted something, that is when I went on Facebook and I saw, yes, he posted that.
Emmanuel's cousin then went on to question why friends who received warning messages from the deceased were not more forthcoming.
The people that posting screenshots of all what he messages he sent to them, I mean, you all know he's our family. If he send messages to you all saying different things that you're putting out now, why don't you all reach out to a family member and say, you know, speak to Gervais about whatever, because he's messaging me saying, you know, it's like not everybody coming out and say all kind of things, and that's not nice. Like, I mean, it's death at the end of the day. The family's taking it hard as well. So I don't want anybody blaming the family because at the end of the day, we don't know what really went on with Gervais.
The death of Gervais Emmanuel is being recorded as the island's second suicide. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
The teenager's suicide has brought with it significant social media attention, with many giving their thoughts on the matter. One popular and openly gay individual also took to Facebook, as he has many times before, and spoke very frankly on being gay in St. Lucia.
I'm telling you, as a mother, if you cannot accept your child the way he or she is, you are not a mother. You are not a mother. And let me tell you, most gay men, their love is for their mother. Their love is for their mother. And as a gay man, we all need our family. You don't have to accept it, but you have to respect it. That is your child. And depression, mental health, and all these things, people, it is real. It is real. Always reach out and see and ask your friends. I'm telling you, this little boy reached out to me about 2 weeks ago. He spoke to me. He spoke to me. You understand? He was one of the people that reached out to me when I did the live the last time. And he's not the only one.
The vocal advocate for individual expression points his finger at many in society who he claims will witness acts of discrimination and do nothing about it.
That boy already stand by the Dennery bus stop or anywhere in the valley and people calling him stand up grinning their teeth like some old horse that see hay. You understand? I could tell you that this would laugh and say, don't do him that, don't tell him that. They would laugh because I personally have been on Dennery buses where women that could be my mother, women that could be my grandmother, see people slap me behind my head on the Dennery bus stop, on the Grossley bus stop. And instead of they say, don't do that, you know what they do? They laugh. They laugh like it's a joke. You by the Grossley bus stop and they're trying to put you off a bus because you're gay. Instead of people tell the driver, don't do that, they laugh because it is a joke. For them, it's a joke.
Just on Saturday, Jove Emmanuel posted on Facebook a poem which many did not realize was a cry for help. Tresha Lionel reads the poem in its entirety.
I feel alone, I've been alone, empty inside out. Earth has nothing for me, I've felt pain, there's no doubt. Cried till I knocked out, even been locked out. I'm bruised, I'm sore, I feel alone, I've been alone. A teen with nothing to call my own but my identity, and that's going to be the death of me. Because I am empty, dent and placed lowly because there's a rainbow inside me. I feel alone, I've been alone. Family doesn't accept me, yet they judge me. Is this life meant for me? Tell me, does God even hear me? I feel alone, but I'm not alone. Then why can't they understand me? For I am me.
Being gay in St. Lucia has a lot of challenges, and as much as I wish they would accept it, because it's not like being gay is new or being a homosexual, so, but it does have challenges, but I do get support from some people.
Continuing our comprehensive coverage on the issue, Hot 7 News spoke with one government minister and founder of the Caribbean Center for Family and Human Rights, CARIFM, which is a non-profit dedicated to protecting the family, human rights, and human dignity. According to Sarah Flood-Bobra, the conversation needs to first focus on health implications rather than revision of legislation. More in this report from Solange Alfred.
We cannot have any discussion about whether or not we are removing buggery from our law books without also having a discussion on health risks associated with the practice of anal sex.
These are the words of parliamentarian Sarah Flood-Bobra and the founder of CARIFM. Flood-Bobra has held steady in her conviction against the decriminalization of anti-buggery laws, even amidst recent reports indicating one member of the LGBT community, 17-year-old Jove Emmanuel of Rocky Lane, Dennery, committed suicide after having to cope with alleged molestation and being bullied for his chosen lifestyle. Furthermore, Flood-Bobra insisted that all factors in regards to the decriminalization of buggery must first be discussed, including that of social awareness.
It is something that we don't want to talk about, but the discussion has to involve not just legalizing or decriminalizing for the sake of, we've got to look at all the health and social issues surrounding it. It has to take a comprehensive approach. And I don't know if you were aware that PANCAP were here sometime last week, I believe it was, and they held a parliamentary session with a view to encouraging St. Lucia to look at some of its laws with the whole idea of reducing the incidence and stigma of HIV/AIDS. And we said we welcome the communication, we welcome the discussion, but it must not be in isolation. We have to look at all of the factors. If we really want to address problems, we must look at all of the issues that cause the problems and address them in a systematic and comprehensive way.
The argument was posed to Flood Bobre that the consumption of alcohol remains one that causes many health issues, yet the practice remains legal.
Alcohol is a drug that is being abused, and we have a lot of issues and challenges that is caused by alcohol abuse. So we have to look at all of the issues that affect our health, not just one, and that's the point I made. We cannot just be pulling things out of a bag, because we are spending a lot of money in healthcare, but the most important aspect of healthcare is prevention. When we built the OKEU, at the time when I was at the Ministry of Health, when all these plans were coming up for health sector reform, the one thing we said we wanted to do, we would reduce the size of our hospitals because we would invest in primary health care. We'd focus on health education, we'd focus on early detection, we'd focus on healthy lifestyles, we'd focus on prevention. Unfortunately, successive governments have not had to do that. So we are still having to build bigger hospitals, and the cost of healthcare is rising.
There are gay people who feel discriminated against by the laws currently in St. Lucia. What do you think about them? How do you think you could respond to their concerns?
I would like us to sit across the table to talk. I do not think that anybody should be denied health care at all. There should be nobody that should be denied an opportunity to live, to work, to live in a country free of fear. Nobody, absolutely. But I think it is important for us to have a frank discussion based on facts, based on the truth, based on the social science data, to come up with the best approaches to everything that we address in this country, not just health, but everything else. It's important.
Flood Bobre highlighted healthy lifestyle practices across the board, inclusive of sexual lifestyle, mental health, and physical fitness, which, according to her, needs to be holistically addressed rather than isolated to specific health concerns. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The LGBT community continues to advocate for the amendment of legislation that outlines that buggery is prohibited on the island. According to the community, the law is an archaic reminder of the sordid past of the Caribbean. The Hot 7 crew took to the streets to find out the public's opinion.
It becomes a touchy situation when laws enter into society's bedroom. However, this has been the case since the 1814 British takeover of St. Lucia, when the anti-buggery status was imposed on the island. Although St. Lucia became independent in 1979, the law against homosexual acts has remained unremoved. The Hot 7 team posed the question to the public to find out, should buggery still be a crime?
See, that's a choice. Some people will choose that path from very, very young. Honestly, I will not criticize people based on their sexuality. That is not something to criticize somebody.
And you don't, but what about the laws, like our laws? You think it should be a crime?
A crime? No, honestly, I shouldn't know. In my opinion, no, it should be a crime.
To me, gay is against the ways of the Most High. And it is more than a crime, especially to teach it to the younger generation coming to know. No! Remember, Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed because of all those things. So, to me, gay, it's more than a crime.
There was a young boy, 17, I think he committed suicide because he was gay and the discrimination. Do you think that that sort of thinking leads people to commit these things? Suicide and that sort of thing?
Well, of course, because that's the same thing again, because of gay causes all other things that not supposed to be there, you know? Because this is not the ways of the Most High. Because as we grow up, that was what our mother telling us. The Father destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of all those evil and wickedness. So I do not support that at all.
Well, everybody have their own rights to be what they want to do in the bedroom business. But if the gay men not interfering with nobody, I'm not supporting gay guys, but it's abomination.
What about gay girls?
It's abomination. The Bible have it is abomination to God. But if these people do in the privacy, in the private room, Nobody can interfere. That's all I have to say.
But what about in our law books? It's still a crime. Do you think that should be revised? The law should be revised to not make it a crime?
It's ticklish. It's ticklish because we have gay senators in America. A lot of gay senators is undercover and they still serve the country. I think the law should be revised. It's that the people's personal bedroom business must remain the bedroom business.
They never pass no law saying that it's free. Two men can booger. It's not sex, that's not sex, that's boogery. And me not support no booger gay, no booger boy. To me, those guys have to be arrested and bring before the court because St. Lucia never passed that in Parliament. Constitution, the book, the rights of St. Lucia never said so. So I think it is a first crime. It's like murder.
Well, I'm a Christian, and I think there should be no room for that.
No room for homosexuality?
No room for, yeah.
There was a guy, 17-year-old, who killed himself because of that sort of discrimination against him because he's homosexual. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the people should allow the people to make their own decisions because we all are adults. Yeah, 17-year-old is an adult, so they should give him his space.
Do you think that that should be revised in our law books?
That's something I don't like in that topic. I don't like that topic.
It seems the public remains torn over the consensual act. What is certain is that the fair Helen of the West has a dark cloud that looms over its human rights agenda, with the repercussion of a 10-year sentence that comes along if a person is caught committing burglary. The act remains one that is both risque and risky. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
When we come back, one government minister calls for an inquiry into the circumstances which led to a person ingesting a harmful substance while in police custody. And Prime Minister Alan Shasney responds to criticisms from CARICOM leaders following his meeting with Donald Trump.